Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your June 2025 astrological forecast. Happy birthday to you. And this is probably a pretty big birthday just for the fact that Jupiter moves into your sign on the 9th and will be there for like a year. So pretty good deal going on here. Okay. So actually we'll start off with though the sun being in Gemini, okay? And your 12th house, that's where you have the sign of Gemini, 12th house being behind the scenes activities by you or someone else, secrets and confidences, the subconscious mind, dreams, the house of charity, the house of confinement, like people being confined to like a nursing home or a hospital or even a prison. Okay. So the sun is here up until the 20th and it will move into your sign. Okay. Mercury is in Gemini up until the 8th and then it moves into Cancer. And Jupiter is still here up until the 9th and then it moves into Cancer, right? So you still have stuff going on behind the scenes. Usually when planets are in your 12th house, especially the sun, it is a time when you're recharging your batteries, kind of. It's your downtime, it's your alone time. You're getting ready for when, planets move into your first house and you're like back on the scene again. Okay. These planets, before they hit your 12th, are in your 11th house of your most sociable house. You're like really out there, and then you got to have a breather from everybody, right? And, you can only take some people so much. But anyway, so with planets in the 12th house, it's best to use this time alone to do things that only you can, like you need to do, only you can do by yourself. Like read a book or something fun like that, whatever. Okay, anyway, there's a full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th in your 6th house. It's directly across from your 12th house of Gemini. So the 6th house is the workplace, the kind of work that you do, your co-workers, your house of health, and your house of, excuse me, service to others. So, something could happen at work, whatever. Something could suddenly be exposed, but it's like a good thing because it will bring an ending to a problem that you were having there. Okay, it could be with a coworker, could be with your boss or the company itself. If you're self-employed, it could be a client who is just hard to get along with, something or other. Okay. Um, I believe that something, whatever, will happen within the workplace, and it kind of frees you up in a way. It's like maybe somebody just gets up and quits, or something changes from this full moon. So it's a good thing, though. It was necessary. Okay. So the month, though, does start off with Venus in Taurus on the 6th. First few days up until the 6th, it's still in Aries in your 10th house. Okay, if you've listened to my videos in the past, I always say when Venus is in your own sign, your first house or your 10th house, to milk it for all you can. So I'm sure that's what you did last month. Let's hope so. Okay, so the difference this month, though, is Neptune and Saturn are also in Aries, okay, in your 10th house. Your 10th house is your most public house, how you're known by reputation for your profession, and your personal persona, like your outer persona when you're in public. Even if you're retired, your livelihood, whatever you used to do or something or other, but you're in the public eye. And when Venus is here, you can do no wrong. Okay, people find you really, really appealing at this time. But like I said, it is moving into Taurus, and it is the natural ruler of Taurus, so it does well when it's there. Your 11th house is where you have the sign of Taurus. But just briefly, I have to mention about Neptune and Saturn both being in Aries now, just for the summer. It's just for like a few months. It gives everyone a preview of what it's like with these two planets in Aries, okay, because they won't fully move into Aries until next year. So we're all getting just a little bit of like I said, a preview. You know, I'll be doing videos on these planets in Aries. Okay, but for now, like I said, they're only here for a few months, and you may not even notice it. May not even notice anything. Let's see. Anyway, having Saturn in your 10th house means you are climbing up the corporate ladder or the ladder of success, like one rung at a time. Okay, it's steady, slow and steady climb up, the you know the to reach that main goal, whatever. If you do work for someone else, there is someone, like a higher up, that kind of micromanages you, or just like, I don't know, they stand in your way. They may feel threatened by you, like you're going to take their position or something or other, whatever. That's one thing. But Saturn does bring a steady climb that lasts. When this transit is done here, you'll be fully secured into a position that you've wanted, and it'll be hard to knock you off your pedestal. Okay, having Neptune here, it does make you look at your career, or just like your public persona, wondering how people really view you. Neptune rules illusion and many other things, but it, whatever it is that you do for a living, or even used to do, or just like your public persona, okay, how you think people, what do they think about you, you may, you're like disillusioned, you may not even like what you do for a living, and you may not even like being in the public eye. Who knows? But it's like I said, these planets are just here briefly for a few months, then they will revert back to Pisces, okay, and your ninth house, so they can finish up their transit there. Anyway, with Venus being in Taurus, okay, in your 11th house of friends and acquaintances, this is socializing in person or online. It's where you would normally go to hang out. Any group or organization that you belong to, and also the house of dreams, hopes, and wishes. So the planet Uranus is also still here, but it will move next month very briefly into Gemini. And then it will move fully into Gemini next year, because it will fall back into Taurus, okay, to finish up its transit there. So, you won't have, well, it's like July, I think, through September. May not even really notice anything. What you should notice, though, is Jupiter in your sign. Okay. But anyways, having Venus in your 11th house, it is your most sociable house, right? So that's what it makes you want to do. You want to get out there and like see your friends. Maybe you haven't seen them for a while, or you want to get out and do something. You want to see a live show. You want to go to a bar for drinks or something, or a restaurant, or some new club, whatever, and try it out. And you could find possibly like a new friend, maybe, but you could also, it could also like turn into romance, okay, just suddenly out of the blue. You may even like find that a friend, someone who is just a friend, has a lot stronger feelings for you than you realized, okay? Or vice versa. You may feel that way about them. But anyways, so with Mercury moving into your sign on the 8th, it is moving very fast, because it will move into Leo on the 26th and your second house, okay? But when it moves into your first house on the 8th, and then followed by Jupiter on the 9th. And you know what? Both of these planets are the travel planets. Okay, Mercury is the ruler of the 3rd house and local travel, and Jupiter is the ruler of the 9th house and long distance travel. And with these two traveling together, I wouldn't be surprised if you went somewhere. It doesn't even have to be something you planned. You just suddenly have the opportunity to travel. Or it is, and it could be to do something that you've always wanted to do, not just like a little vacation or anything. Jupiter brings opportunities to do things you've always wanted to do, but like probably never had the chance. Not that you were afraid to do it, You just didn't have the opportunity. And now that's what Jupiter is doing. It's helping you to expand in your life somewhere or other, learn something new, try something new, different, you know. But it does bring good fortune. And if anything, because a lot of people, they just sit back and wait for stuff to fall in their lap, and you really can't do that, okay? Especially with this transit, you have to get out there and use it the best way that you can. But if, you know, by the end of this transit, you didn't notice anything, what it will do, what Jupiter will do, is bring a little bit of lightheartedness to your life. You know, things may seem a lot easier at the time. Or I always say too, you know, if you have a bad time during a Jupiter transit, when you look back on that time period, you will see that things could have been much worse, okay? Or you were lucky in some way or other, even though something unfortunate, whatever, happened to you, okay? So Jupiter acts as like a buffer zone. You don't get the full brunt of whatever, you know, was happening, whatever took place, which is good. Yeah. Okay, anyway, let's see here. Okay, so the sun in your first house from the 20th on, a new moon in your sign on the 25th, right? Definitely, that is like the beginning of your year, your new moon. We each have a new moon and a full moon in our sign. So the new moon begins your year. So like from the 25th of June till next year, the 25th of June. It's a new beginning. Okay, it's a good idea if you're not able to like start something, physically start something, just like make a list of like things that you would like to accomplish. You know, it's not really a bucket list. It's just you're trying to use this this transit of the new moon to like set your intentions more or less. So if you like write stuff down, if you're not able to get out anywhere and you know, do something that like that brings about whatever, you know, kind of change or growth you were trying to do, you know, just make those plans. You know, just making the plans under a transit, a certain transit thing. It goes for like any transit that you're having that's like a really like once in a lifetime thing, or it's a really, really good transit, but you can't get out there to use it to the best of your ability or its ability. You know, you're home with the flu in bed, you know, just write things down, make plans. And that is still using that transit. Okay. So, you know that you're on the sending and receiving end of an awful lot of communications while Mercury is in your first house here. And the sun, and of course Jupiter. You know, people just like may be contacting you to see if you want to do this or that, and just dragging you out of the house as if like you haven't been out in a while or something. But you're very popular. Okay. So Mercury does move into Leo on the 26th in your second house of earned income and possessions. It's also your house of your personal values and also your valuables, like luxury items, you know, like jewelry, cologne, any kind of investments that you made may like really start to you like bring some kind of return in. Like if you buy stocks or if you have coins or something or other, they may increase at this time. Mars has been in Leo on and off between your sign and Leo, okay, for the past few months, and finally it's ending its transit in Leo, okay, and will move into Virgo on the 17th. But for now, you've still got Mars in your second house of basically earned income, okay, and your possessions, but it's also your sense of self-worth too. So you may have had to put a few people in their place in some way or other for the way they were treating you, like very disrespectfully, or just, I don't know, just the behavior towards you, you know, by at least one person was something you weren't going to put up with. So you set them straight, right? The whole time that Mars was here, that's what that would do. It would just, because it's been here for such a long time, it would really bother you. You would have to do something about it, okay? Anyways, Mars in your second house also made you go after money or possessions that are yours, that you should have. You know, if somebody's holding on to them or not giving them back, or money, if money is being delayed in some way or other, you know, I feel really got down, like really got to the bottom of it now that Mars is leaving, but Mercury is still in your second house, is big on communication. So maybe you will hear that, yeah, the check really is in the mail, something or other, but you should at least have some kind of movement in communications regarding money or possessions, okay, that you've been uh, really going after. Okay, so Mars does move into Virgo on the 17th in your third house. That's where you have the sign of Virgo, third house being like your everyday life, your neighbors, your neighborhood, the people and places you would encounter throughout the normal course of your day. This is also local travel, which is usually a road trip or a overnight, weekend, or day trip. Also, all forms of communications, including regular postal mail. Having Mars here makes you very active, let's say like in your neighborhood or your own area. There may be a lot of things going on there that you're able to do. It is summer here in America anyway. So a lot of festivities possibly within your neighborhood that you might take part in. But because it's Mars and it's a physically energizing planet, you may start doing things like running or walking around your neighborhood, or just visiting a lot of places you haven't been to lately, or even a new place that you wanted to check out. Okay? So the best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Cancer on the 25th and 26th. The best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Capricorn, and those dates are the 12th, 13th, and 14th. The best time, the best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, gambling, or speculation, and anything to do with children is the 7th, 8th, 9th, 21st, and 22nd. The best time for money is the 1st, 2nd, 14th, 15th, 16th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. The best time for your career is the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And the best time for communication and travel is the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 29th, and 30th. So I hope you enjoyed your forecast for June. Happy birthday to you, and happy Jupiter in your sign. See ya.